week 2 of the Great British Sewing Bee, and we had activewear. Now, I felt that all 3 challenges were particularly difficult this week, but I have decided to take on the transformation challenge. A very lovely cycling friend of mine has donated me 3 of his cycling tops, but I will come back to that. Their first challenge was the pattern challenge, a 7-panel cap in 3 hours, which is less time than they had for last week's challenge, and I felt this one seemed a little bit more intensive sewing wise with all the top stitching and details, but it's hard to know without having tested it. Now, having listened to the judges' critique, their main focus seemed to be that top stitching. When I was looking, there were quite a few puckers and little bits caught in the wrong places, but there was no mention of it. But they also all seemed to be coming down to the wire timing wise. Of course, both of those things could be heavily influenced by the edit. It's always hard to know. And then Kit won the pattern challenge for the 2nd week in a row. It will be interesting to see if he can continue that streak. Now, this transformation challenge, 90 minutes to turn 3 cycling tops into a party outfit, no trim or extra fabric. Now, doing this challenge has given me a real insight into why so many of them seem to be struggling. There really isn't a huge amount of fabric in 3 cycling tops, and I don't think they were given a particularly large size of top either. So many of them seem to be struggling to get the length for an outfit because they were specifically asked for an outfit, not a top or a bottom, but a whole outfit to put together. I think the tops I'm using are slightly different to what they were given. The ones I have had the pockets at the back and all those sorts of things. But I would imagine theirs were the same in the sense of all the paneling, which sort of restricted you in terms of how you were working with them. But I also totally got in my head with this, which I think a lot of them did as well, because of course the thing with these transformation challenges is once you've cut them, there's no going back. You kind of have to go with the vibe that you've started with. But fair play to Kit, because he had draped it beautifully. He'd done a really good job with what is a very challenging project. The made to measure this week made me a bit angry just because of how few of them were actually checking fit. The whole point in this challenge has always been to make something that fits another human, because that is a skill in its own right. And to watch so many of them not doing that, and then Peter saying that he hadn't practiced it, honestly, I was finding it really difficult and stressful to watch. But there were some lovely outcomes. Orla and Glendora's were by far my favourites. But I thought there were some really good sews in that challenge despite some of the fit issues. Now, I have come to an end on this transformation challenge. Now, bear in mind, obviously, I was donated 3 tops, so I have not been able to choose my colours and combinations, unlike what they did on theirs. But I do think I did an all right job. It's a little bit too wearable from my perspective, if that makes any sense. I always like to go a little bit more out there and zany, but I did enjoy the little zip that I managed to get up for an adjustable split. And this like Harlequin-y style fabric really does make this pop, even though technically the actual cut of the dress is quite boring. But you tell me what you think. Do we like it? How did I do?